Well, I decided I'm tired of freezing in the barn. So we're into the garage now, folks. Much nicer. There's actually a reason. Yeah, I am tired of freezing in the barn, but the biggest reason is that it's time to get this thing cleaned up and put some paint on here. This garage typically stays about high 40s, maybe right at about 50 degrees. And so with a little bit of a space heater, we'll be able to get this tractor, get this metal warmed up enough that we'll be able to spray the primer and the paint on here and be able to get it to adhere and get the best possible results this time of year. Going to have to deconstruct some of the work though. Going to have to pull off a few things here and there so I can get access, get everything cleaned up the best we can. I spent quite a bit of time with the pressure washer and wire brush. Lots of cleaning still to do. So we'll get this cleaned up, finished up. We'll take off a few bits and pieces here and get it ready to put some paint on this thing. All right, we'll keep at it. Kind of funny, but I'm getting this thing taken down further. There we go. Further than ever before. Just don't know when to stop. Primary reason I'm doing all this is because I want the paint to stick, especially down around in this area where the, well, come on, where the hydraulic ram was. It's leaked a lot of hydraulic fluid over time. And it's just a mess right there. So to get that to stick, I want to pull off the seat. Look at that. All that grease and oil up underneath there. I just got to get it stripped down far enough that I can get that paint to stick in a reasonable fashion. And it'll help keep the local auto parts store in business with all the shop towels I get to buy from them. Not a huge issue, just, well, dang it. That's all. It's just a dang it. All right. Now we're talking. Just oil and dirt. All right, I spent the better part of this week using various paint thinners and chemicals, the wire wheel on the grinder and the wire brushes and screwdrivers, chipping away at the grease and the oil. I'm down to the final brake parts cleaner and old baby clothes to try and get the best adhesion we can for the longest paint job we can get. Welcome back to the channel, guys. As you can see, looking around here, we've brought the Massey Harris from the barn into the garage because it's time to paint. And I spent the last couple of weeks just scraping little tiny chunks, just all that 70 years of grease and dirt that mixes together in that concrete. I've been scraping and cleaning this tractor for the last few weeks, and I'm at the point that, well, that's clean enough. In fact, I'm looking and I see spots right there that I didn't get. I'm not doing any more scraping and cleaning. It's time to go ahead and paint this thing. We're going to paint this stuff with just a Tractor Supply house brand, the Majik, well, I don't know if that's their house brand, but the Majik tractor truck implement. In fact, I know it's not the Tractor Supply house brand, but it's what we're using. So we're going to go with the Massey Ferguson Red. That's the closest commercially available or pre-mixed paint that we can get for the Massey Harris Red. It's a little bit pinker than the International, than the Farmall. I like the Farmall Red better, but we're going back with the Massey Harris or the Massey Ferguson Red in this case. Here's the deal. I'm not a paint guy. I painted my Jeep one time and then paid a guy a lot of money to sand it back down and repaint it. I did it with a Harbor Freight siphon feed gun. This would have been probably 20 years ago. Horrible job of it. This time, I'm stepping up in the world. I'm using the Harbor Freight gravity feed HVLP gun. We're going to try this out. And so we're going to try the Majik primer with the reducer. I do have some other paint thinner. I went through this entire process. I pressure washed the tractor. I then scraped all the grease I could get off of it. Then I went over and I washed it with gasoline. Then I went back and scraped a whole bunch more, washed it with soap and water, scraped a whole bunch more, and then wiped it down with paint thinner, and then wiped it down with a dry cloth. That's going to give us the best results that I can get without actually taking every part off and cleaning them all chemically and mechanically. So that's where we're at. So stick around. We're going to set up this, this paint gun and give it a shot for the first time for me. It'll be awesome. All right, moment of truth. Well, not entirely. Let's try this. Let's see what we get. So far, so good. Cast iron, on the cast, it doesn't really matter how well it lays down. On the stamped stuff, it seems to be laying down okay. I don't know. I'm painting. I'm primering. And it's going pretty good. So what, 2/3 of it done? I'll keep finishing this thing up. Then I got to crawl underneath and shoot it from underneath to get all the spots I can't reach. That'll be fun too. It's all fun, right? It's like It's like the most fun you can legally have. All right, here we go again. Majik truck, tractor implement paint, reducer, and we're going to try the hardener as well. We'll mix that up. It's been, I primed that tractor 48 hours ago. So we will give it a coat of red. See how that looks for us. I really should go find my paint can openers, but I won't. I don't think this old girl's looked this good in a long time. Paint laid on fairly well. Not a whole lot of orange peel. All in the shadows on this side. But I think we have good coverage. We have some spots down here in the frame rails that were a little tricky to get to without fully stripping down, pulling the motor out. I'm pretty happy with this. We'll have to wait until we get this thing out in the sunlight and get a real good idea of what it's going to look like. You know, we're in here underneath some LED lights. But we got this big thing painted. And of course there's pink all over in the garage. It settled on the car that was two bays over. And on top of our freezer, you know, it's all pink. That's okay. We'll just work through it. This is a good place to stop this video. I'm really happy with how that Majik paint flowed out of that Harbor Freight gun. I'm satisfied. I know that this has been a day later, by the way, so I'm touching it. I know this isn't professional quality, nowhere near, but it's probably pretty indicative of the quality of the paint that it had when it came out of the factory, as far as the finish of that paint. You know, it won't last long, it won't hold its color as long. That's what happens when you buy cheaper paint. And, you know, that old lead-based paint that I've been grinding on for who knows how long. That old lead-based paint that they probably came out of the factory with, it held the color a lot better. So anyways, I'm pretty darn happy with how this thing is starting to shape up. Next up, well, let me just step through my work area here. I'm going to enclose this little area in here so that I can paint the rest of this small stuff. I've got the grill to do still. I've got bits and pieces of apparatus, parts of the radiator assembly, all this miscellaneous small stuff. It's got to be cleaned up and then painted. And so that's what I'll be working on the next few days. Just just a few more batches of paint, get that stuff all done, get it ready to go, and I'll just start bolting it on as I get it painted. So I'll try to get enough clean to do a nice big batch so I can primer and paint it all up, and then we can start putting it back together. We'll be replacing and upgrading a few things along the way. Here on the brakes, we're going to replace the brake discs. I have one new brake actuator coming for the right hand side here. New brake actuator, because the one that I have it's never worked since I've had this tractor, and it's severely worn. So new brake actuator, new seals to prevent that from ruining my brake discs. Just stuff like that as we start putting this thing back together. So just a little bit at a time, and we'll make this thing, well, we'll get her driving again before we know it. Hopefully by the time springtime comes around, we can take this thing out and maybe plow a couple of acres. That's my goal, is to have the refreshed engine able to plow when it hasn't had that ability for years and years. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. I appreciate the views. Give me some comments. What do you guys think? What would you have done differently? Let me know. I'm absolutely open to constructive criticism, and as long as you don't call me, bad names, I appreciate it. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next video. And you know what? Go out and do something you've never done, or something you haven't even tried in 25 years. I haven't tried to paint a vehicle in 25 years, and I think I'm going to do a few more of these. I think I'm going to even get better at it. Better quality paint and a little bit of skill. But thanks for watching. Catch you guys on the next video. Whoa, look at all this red. Little bit more